Everybody's ready. Everybody's healthy. Everybody came out of that last game clean. So had a nice practice, and now we'll head to Utah.
When you get to a closeout game like this, is the message any different for you coming from the coaching perspective?
No. For me, it's for our team is to continue. The only thing we did was force a game 6, to go back to their place and understand it's hard to win there. And they're a very talented team and well coached, and we got to hopefully put ourselves in a position to find a way to win on the road. We haven't talked about last year. We just are in the moment, talking about how we can get better on both ends of the ball in this series, and that's the only thing we've really been focused on. It's not easy, to close out a series, and so you got to be playing your best basketball, and you got to continue to trust and believe in one another. And right now, that's what we're doing. We talked about it. I think before the game is the journey we've been on. We've been in different situations. We've won games. We've lost games. And can we, learn from those? And I thought again, the character of this team is, we found a way to win up there in Game 3 and put ourselves in a position to win Game 4, but we didn't get the W. But we came back home, and we still believe that if we played the way we have been playing here of late, that it puts us in a position to win. But you're never guaranteed to win, and we saw that with the last 40 seconds in Game 4. So again, we got to execute and trust and keep playing hard. They've been together. They've seen the good and they've seen the bad, and that pitcher mentality. After you give up a home run, is you got to throw the next pitch, and that's the way this team, I think, goes about their businesses. They all understood the position that we were in, and we just came up short. There was nothing to linger in the sense of talk about or debate what we could have done different. It's turn the page and get ready for Game 5, and I thought that's what they did. Well, I think the big thing is rebounding the ball. Gobert had offensive rebounds that we fouled, and so. Again, we got to try to keep him off the free throw line. We got to keep a body on Gobert so he doesn't dominate the boards. We've talked defense from the start, and we continue to talk defense, and we rely on our defense, and that's pretty cool for the first year. And as we've gone, hopefully we continue to get better at understanding the different schemes. But I think the guys have really bought into playing defense, and our defense is going to be tested in Game 6. It's not just in that game, but it's been all season. The trust of understanding what we're talking about and teaching as coaches, they're able to digest what we're saying, and those guys are the ones that have to do the work, and those guys are doing it at a high level. Just stay in character. Just be yourself. We're not asking anybody to do anything more. We're just trying to put ourselves in a position to find a way to win on the road, and that means just stay in character.
Is there a killer instinct to that, though? Hey, you can sense we're right there. Let's close it out now.
Yeah, I've been around one of the greatest players. When he wanted something really bad, he didn't shoot the ball very well in that first half, and we were lucky to have Jason Terry playing well. So when you want something really bad, it tends to go the opposite way. So again, as I just said, we just have to stay in character and play our game.
We know, you need 4 wins in order to advance, so we got to take this game very serious because we know they're gonna come out, play the hardest they probably ever played. So we did a great job today, preparing, cleaning up some mistakes and stuff like that. Because obviously the last game was a little bit different from the other ones before because we won by a lot of points, but that doesn't mean, they missed open looks. So we got to do our job in order to win a game. So no time to relax right now.
So it wasn't as perfect as it looked?
I think we did a lot of great jobs and we forced misses, but there were also a lot of open looks that they had. And if they go in, the game can go completely different. So in order to prevent that, you got to still do your job and come out there and work hard before you win. I think everybody who experienced that doesn't want this to happen again. So that's why we have to do our job and take this very serious. There's no time to relax, especially in the playoffs. They're a very talented team, especially offensively. We did a good job last game, but like I said, they missed a lot of open looks too. And they were the #1 offense in the NBA for a reason. So we have to keep playing the way we do, and then but we also don't want to dwell on the past. What happened? I don't know. I think some point experience, but at the same time, we had this happen like last year, this like left the market, everybody, we want to win, and we know we can win, so I think the mindset is just that we go in and want to finish this. I agree, yeah, I think we played with a higher pace, we got the ball over the half court a lot quicker, and that helps us to set up our fast break points and our offense. A lot of times we had open looks before the defense was even set, and we have to continue doing that as soon as we get the rebound, which is like a big part of finishing plays, especially with Gobert and Whiteside in there. We have to run and keep the pace up. When our other guards catch the rebound here and there too, like Dodo, he just pushes it and sees what's going on, because a lot of times, you can't always expect the same guy to push the pace. That's just impossible. So now that we have everybody crashing in and helping rebound, because they are so good at rebounding, Gobert and Whiteside, as I said, that gives other people a chance to catch the ball and just push it in. And if it's another guy every possession, everybody else has to run with them. I think from our side, we were better in executing our defensive plan. We didn't give them as many free throws. We played with better pace on defense too, not just on offense. But whenever we had we read the situations good, so they didn't have as many attacks to the basket as before, and not as many open looks. Obviously, they didn't make their shots, but I think the biggest thing that we did was clean up the big mistakes that we had, and that lead to open layups and foul trouble and stuff like that.
There's a whole lot of things that we focus on in training camp throughout the season and throughout the series, in terms of preparing for games, in terms of how we communicate on the floor and our chemistry defensively. So it's hard to pick out one or two things, but I think it's just been a major focus for us as a team and on an individual basis to have each other's back and compete on that end of the floor. Yeah, communication, we followed the scout very well. We understood their tendencies, and we had each other's back in the situations where we were beat or had to make rotations. So, and also we finished plays well, which was good. So, but the biggest thing is having chemistry on that end of the floor and communicating. Hopefully that's something that's consistent throughout. That's effort and focus, following the game plan. Obviously, there are great players on that side, and they're going to make adjustments, so we have to be prepared for those things and try to do our best to be imaginative and see what they may come at us with. But it comes down to just focusing on us and our scout, and doing the same thing as far as effort and communication on that end of the ball. Right now we're focusing on this one game we have and competing to the highest possible level, and that's every single possession. So defensively it's going to be huge for us going into their place. We're going to have to limit their possessions and make sure we're finishing plays and continue to communicate the way we've been communicating and have each other's back, and that's our focus going into tomorrow. There's been a lot of experience we've gone through as a team this season that we've taken a lot from and we're learning from, and a lot of experience even in this series. So like I said, our biggest focus is going to be going in there with a defensive mindset and letting our offense kind of feed off of that tomorrow and being prepared for whatever it is that they have prepared for us. It means just that, staying in character. We've done a lot of things to get to this point. In all of our roles, we've tried our best to be consistent, and that's something we're going to continue to do. And the effort has always been there. It's going to continue to be there. And knowing where to be, when to be there, and have each other's back is going to be key going into tomorrow. That really comes down to the full team getting stops. I think we have skilled enough and athletic enough guards to run off of makes, but it's a lot easier. And there's a lot more momentum when you run off of a miss. So if we can limit them to one shot, and we can crack down on their bigs that have done a tremendous job of creating problems for us in that department, if we can hold them back and have a numbers advantage even when they're down on that lower side of the court, it's a lot easier to get out and run.
You've put a lot of time in against Rudy. What did you think when Spencer went in and threw down on him like that?
It's a big play, big momentum play. He's a great shot blocker, so you got to pick your spots, and Spencer saw an opportunity, and he felt bouncy, so he took advantage. Yeah, we're not really playing with ifs. We have a game for sure tomorrow that we're going to compete, and we're going to do everything in our power to win, and that's the focus. And it's going to start with one possession, and then there'll be one after that. So that's kind of the mentality that we're going in with, is competing every single possession, carrying out our game plan, staying in character and doing the things that we've done to be successful, and continue to make the adjustments where needed. There's no other option. We have to play the game. We have to show up and compete every single possession. So that's what we're going to do.